Interest rate is rising. Will this cause a recession or slow down the property market? So what does mean for property buyers who are looking for a new home right now? Hello, I'm the property strategist, Steven Chong. Appreciate your early thumbs up. Now, I want to share with you one misconception. A lot of people thought that if they bought earlier, the interest rate will be lower. But this is not permanent because their lock-in period for the old interest rate will expire in 2 years or the longest is 3 years. Then they will be subject to the new higher interest rate. The higher interest rate means that you have to fork out more from your pocket every month. Hence, the investment return will be lower, so some investors might put their plan on hold. I've done a video about the rising interest rate. Will Singapore property price go up or go down? If you are interested to know more, I will link it up here and down below the description. Now, let me analyze for you how much actually the higher interest rate will affect you. From there, you can decide whether is it good to go or to hold back. If Xiaoming buys a resale property at 1.5 million and he is 35 this year, taking a max loan of 75%, which is 1.125 million. Previously, when the interest rate was at 1.5%, he pays $3,882 monthly. If the interest rate rise to 2.5%, he got to pay $4,445 monthly. That is $563 higher for a 1.5 million resale property. But what if Xiaoming changed his mind and buy a new launch property instead? Because the new launch paid according to the construction progress. So the amount payable during the construction period, the difference of the interest amount between 1.5% and 2.5% is lesser. I share with you all this doesn't mean that buying the new launch property is always better. The key thing that I would like to share with you is to let you see the breakdown of the higher costs, whether you can afford to pay for the higher monthly installment. That's the most critical, right? In the past 2 years, Singapore property price went up tremendously. In fact, the root cause is not just because of the high demand, but also the low supply. So, what caused the supply shortage? In the last 2 years, construction progress was adversely impacted by the COVID outbreak. I believe the manpower and the material logistic issues in the past 2 years hold back the government from releasing more land sales. Otherwise, while the existing projects are still struggling with the progress, and if the government still launch more projects, where to find the extra manpowers to build, right? That's why the private condo supply in the pipeline is dropping continuously. Hence, a supply shortage in the new launch condo, and whichever short flat that you go, the remaining units are very limited. You can see from the data provided by URA that the take-up was higher than the new launch for the 4th straight quarter. That's why Piccadilly Grand and Live N&B can achieve almost 80% sales on the first day of their launch. While the government is reducing the land sales in the last 2 years, many developers are running out of land banks. So what can they do is to bid for en bloc tender. That's why you can see there are more successful en bloc sales recently. And then for each project, hundreds of the homeowners become overnight millionaires. They got the money, but they got to spend it on the next new home, right? See, successful en bloc just created another big group of the ready buyers with a lot of cash in hand. Remember just now I mentioned the delay in the construction? All projects that are supposed to obtain TOP in the last 2 years were delayed for 1 or 2 years. In addition, ABSD for the second property is higher now at 17% for the locals. It is unlikely for a typical Singaporean family to buy a second property without selling their first one. So what will they do if they're selling their home and buying a new launch property? They'll have to rent a place and wait for TOP, right? Furthermore, for those that already waited for more than 2 years and still renting, but their new home is still under construction due to the delay, what will happen to them? They will have to renew the tenancy agreement, right? So you see, the old tenants are renewing and the new tenants are coming in, making it a pent-up demand, plus the supply shortage, and boom, rental hike. Many tenants don't even realize that the rental market went up so much until the lease is renewed. Last month itself, a total of 30 units HDB flat was sold for over $1 million. City View at Henderson in Bukit Merah, which sold for $1.4 million, making it the most expensive resale HDB flat on record. I mean, who would expect that a HDB resale flat could hit $1.4 million? Not only our HDB flats are hitting record, recently our neighborhood coffee shops are also sold for 8-figure record. What makes the price going so high? First thing, the supply of the coffee shop is very limited because HDB stopped selling them since 1998. Second thing, the rental charge is double according to some of the food stalls, which means the higher rental yield for the coffee shop operators. Just recently, Xinhai won the land bid at Diamond Road near Dakota MRT at 1350 PSF PPR. Imagine the developer could get a decent land in District 9 at a cheaper price 6 years ago. What does that mean? Inflation! Thankfully, the COVID is now less severe than before. Following the easing of border restriction, more construction workers are coming back to Singapore. Now, URA is launching more government land sales and reserve sites for the developers to bid. However, the effect will only kick in after 2023 because whatever the developers bid today, they can only launch for sale next year. In addition, there will be more projects to obtain TOP in 2023. With that, I can foresee that the Singapore property market in 2023 will grow at a slower pace and stabilize the crazy rental market. The higher interest rates mean higher costs for the developers as well, because the developers are also taking loans from the local banks. Moving forward, I believe most of the developers will be more cautious and conservative in land bidding, especially the bigger projects. However, if you are sitting on the fence hoping that the property price will drop, I can tell you that is very unlikely to happen. Not forgetting the GST rate will increase in the coming years. My key message here is, instead of guessing whether the property price will drop or not, we should see our own financial numbers clearly to make your long-term decision. If you have any questions, feel free to reach me via my WhatsApp. Once again, I'm Steven Chong. Hope to see you soon.